We explain what Salatul Jama'ah is. Either the Salah of Gaji, Akojo, tàbí àwọn èèyàn tí wọ́n péjọ. Ìkójọ, if I get that right in your basic language. Babu Salatul Jama'ah. The chapter regarding the Salah of Congregation. Or the chapter regarding the Salah of the people who are congregated, who are gathered. And today, inshallah, we'll be mentioning three basic things that we said first regarding Salatul Jama'ah. Al-Imām Ash-Shawkāni said, Rahimahullah, Hiya min ākadi sunnah. Hiya, that is Salatul Jama'ah. That hiya min ākadi sunnah. وَتَنْعَقِدُ بِاثْنَيْنِ وَإِذَا كَثُرَ الْجَمْعُ كَانَ الثَّوَابُ أَكْثَرَ. He said, Rahimahullah, Hiya min ākadi sunnah. That is Salatul Jama'ah. Min ākadi sunnah. وتنعقد باثنين وإذا كثر الجمع كثر الثواب وإذا كثر الجمع كان الثواب أكثر وإذا كثر الجمع كان الثواب أكثر. If you like. So three things inshallah today. That Salatul Jama'ah min ākadi sunnah. Salatul Jama'ah is from the most emphasized sunnah. Salatul Jama'ah, Al-Imām Ash-Shawkāni rahimahullah in Ad-Durar Al-Bahiyyah, he said here min ākadi sunnah. Salatul Jama'ah is from the most emphasized sunnah. The practices of Sunnah. He said, وَتَنْعَقِدُ بِاثْنَيْنِ. And when only two people sit or come together, he said Salatul Jama'ah is the Salah of coming together, or the Salah of a people who have come together. So he says, وَتَنْعَقِدُ. The Jama'ah will be established بِاثْنَيْنِ. With just two persons. Any two persons together, they are a Jama'ah. It's like asking, what is the Jama'ah we are talking about? Minimum of two persons. They are a Jama'ah. It says, وَإِذَا كَثُرَ الْجَمْعُ. When the gathering, the number of people in that gathering, that they have gathered for Salah, that we refer to as Salatul Jama'ah. This Jama'ah is a kafura. When it becomes much, the larger the congregation, the larger the gathering, kana thawabu akthara. Then the reward that each of the individuals in that gathering will earn from that salah will be much more. So the salah of two persons has more reward than the salah of three persons has more reward than the salah of two. The salah of three has more reward than the salah of 4. Salah of 10 has more reward than the Salah of 5. Salah of 100 has more reward than the Salah of 15 or 20, and so on. He says, وَإِذَا كَثُرَ الْجَمْعُ كَانَ الثَّوَابُ أَكْثَرَ. As much as the gathering is, then the reward will be much more. I wish that this is how we are reading this. It will just be continuing. I wish we could just go like this. Because it is clear easy. This is what the Imam is saying. Here min ākadi sunnah. Salatul Jama'ah is from the most emphasized practices of Sunnah. From the most emphasized Sunnah. Meaning that as far as he is concerned, to observe Salah in Jama'ah is Sunnah. We are coming back to it. But you must know what we want to discuss. It says, وَتَنْعَقِدُ بِاثْنَيْنِ. Al-Jama'ah becomes established with just two persons, to yourself and a child. Does it also involve a father and a little young boy, 5, 6 years old boy, 7 years old boy, or two adults? It says, what an attribute is like these two that can form a Jama'ah. What if it's a man and his wife? What if it's a man and his sister? What if it's a man and his son? Will it be considered as Salatul Jama'ah? What about one Ummu and a little daughter? Will it be Salatul Jama'ah? These two, what an attribute is named. Who are those two that will suffice for Salatul Jama'ah? It says, وَإِذَا كَثُرَ الْجَمْعُ, when the congregation or the people in the congregation are larger, كَانَ الثَّوَابُ أَكْثَرَ, then the reward is also as large as that. The larger the congregation, the larger the reward. So these are the three things that we like to read today. Share Masjid al-Haram, you'll be praying with about 1 million people at least. Yes, 1 million. I don't know which masjid you pray with 1 million. Masjid al-Nabawi at least 200,000, especially during Ramadan. It can be up to 250. But I think that mosque can take up to 1 million. Masjid al-Nabawi. What is its capacity? It's known, we established. The built this masjid is specific number. The number of people they want. At a point in time, one scholar, how many people can pray there? How many people can pray? Depending on the specification. Right. In Ramadan. And for example, on the night of the 27th of Ramadan, it is possible for you to have up to 2 to 2.5 million people in Masjid al-Haram. If it will not be up to 3 million, I will be surprised. Because on those nights of 27th, the last odd night, and especially 27th, the whole street that leads to Masjid al-Haram will be blocked with people. From after Salatul Isha, you can't have access to Masjid al-Haram. The roads are blocked. Not the entrances to the Masjid. The road that leads to the Masjid will be blocked. From Salatul Isha, you start seeing people trying to find the place. If you are not around the Masjid, around that time, then you pray outside the mosque. So that's one advantage that big men like those club house hotels. Because you can go for a store, rest a little bit. If you don't want to partake in the 20 rakat at night, you can still wait such that it is in the midnight. It just depends on your hotel room. You perform the salah, you go up again. But it's very expensive to do that. Big men do that. And that's why when you have money, it's useful. You are within the area. You just go up and down. May Allah enrich us to do good deeds. Many times there are people who have the means to do. And many times people have the means to do good deeds, but they don't even do evil deeds with them. Those young boys singing and dancing all around, some people are giving them the money to do. May Allah protect them. What he said regarding that is that وَإِذَا كَثُرَ الْجَمْعُ كَانَ الثَّوَابُ. When the congregation is large, if the congregation is large, then the reward is also large. So these are the issues that Al-Imām Ash-Shawkāni mentioned in Ad-Durar Al-Bahiyyah fil Masail al-Fiqhiyya. So we can take them one after the other. It says, هِيَ مِنْ آكَدِ السُّنَةِ. The Salatul Jama'ah is min akad sunnah. It is from the most emphasized sunnah. The sunnah he means here is that ma laysa biwajib. something that is not obligatory. So what it means is that, yes, Salatul Jama'ah is encouraged, and being encouraged is emphasized, but it is not an obligation. We mentioned in our last class when we are trying to open up to discuss that this position is wrong. What is correct is that, inshallah, Salatul Jama'ah is wajibah. The meaning of what he said, rahimahullah, is that if you don't come for Salatul Jama'ah, you have not committed a sin or go without any oath. You have called the Adhan. Make the Adhan for Zuhur, Maghrib, Isha. Many young people do that. There is no sin on the person. That is them. Although but it does not do so that it has not committed a sin. This is the meaning of what Imam Ash-Shawkāni said. But he said that this position is wrong. Don't be surprised. It's not the first person who said it. That is the position of the majority of the people. Those of us who say we are Malikiya, many scholars of Malikiya have this view. That Salatul Jama'ah is sunnatun mu'akkada. But it's a wrong view. It's a wrong view. Don't be surprised. People like Abdur-Raūf have it. He mentioned it in Al-Tibyān. It's a wrong view. Many scholars said so. The correct view is that Salatul Jama'ah is wajibah. If they call the Adhan for Salatul Fajr, Zuhur, Asr, Maghrib, Isha, for a man, we are coming to that, not a woman. Salatul Jama'ah in the masjid is not obligatory for a woman. Allahu Akbar. It's not obligatory for them. We'll come back to that. The reason we quickly say that is that so that a woman does not think, even we too, no, women. He said, alayhi salatu wa salam, in the hadith of Abdur-Raūf. He said, وَبُيُوتُهُنَّ خَيْرٌ لَهُنَّ وَبُيُوتُ لَا تَمْنَعُوا إِمَاءَ اللَّهِ مَسَاجِدَ اللَّهِ. Do not prevent the female slaves of Allah from the mosque of Allah. And then he said, sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, وَبُيُوتُهُنَّ خَيْرٌ لَهُنَّ. Are better for them. وَبُيُوتُهُنَّ. Their rooms, their inner apartments are better for them. So the matter does not have to do with women. It has to do with men here. That it is obligatory for a man when he hears the adhan to go. Don't pray at home. It is women who should pray at home. Men go to the masjid. And that you go to the masjid is wajib out. Compulsory on you to congregate for that salah. If you don't congregate for the salah, you are committing a sin. If you pray alone, yes, the individual has salah, but he is sinning. For what? For not going to the masjid for salah teacher. Ìwà ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ ni kéèyàn máa lọ mọ́sáàsì lọ kírun jàmáà. May Allah protect all of us. So the madhab of the Jumhur, and that is the madhab, that is the position of Al-Imām Ash-Shawkāni, is that Salatul Jama'ah is sunnatun mu'akkada. So people can say, so where did they get it from? Did they just bring it from the blue? No, they did not bring it from the blue. That position of the Jama'ah is based on the hadith of Abdur-Raūf, radiyallahu anhu. But like I've always said, Olala we try to explain. But we should know where they have come from. He said, Salat, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He said, Salatul Jama'ah أفضل من صلاة أحدكم وحده ب25 جزءا. صلاة الجماعة أفضل من صلاة أحدكم وحده ب25 جزءا. This hadith was collected by Abdur-Raūf radiallahu anhu. It occurs in Sahih al-Bukhari and Muslim. The Salatul Jama'ah, the Salah of congregation. The Salah will pray with the rest of the people. Or the Salah will pray congregation in a gathering with others. Afdalu min salati ahadikum has more reward, is more rewarding than the Salah of any one of you wahdahu alone. The ب25 جزءا in 25 forms or in 25 times or in 25 parts. So if you take his own Salah as one, 25 of his own. So if we have to say he has to perform that his own Salah 25 times before he can make the reward of going for Salah in Jama'ah. For each of these times, Allah alone knows that reward. And he is alone here with the rest of the Jama'ah. And we said in the text we read from Ash-Shawkāni rahimahullah that وَإِذَا كَثُرَ الْجَمْعُ, when the congregation is larger, we said كَانَ الثَّوَابُ أَكْثَرَ, the reward is more, the reward is larger. So if we phone 25 times, only Allah knows how these 25 times are exactly. So the scholars say there is al-ishtirāku fil fadl. When they say afdal, this is al-mufadalatu fil fadl. They are both comparing them in what? In terms of their virtue. If you say Salah in Jama'ah is better than Salah alone, afdalu min salati ahadikum wahdahu, this afdalu is figure to tafdeel. So there's musharaka fil fadl. Salatul Fajr and Salatul Jama'ah, the Salah of the one who prays alone and the Salah of the one who prays with a congregation. The one in congregation is better since there is musharaka fil fadl. They both share in virtue. This one is more virtuous. So the Jumhur say if this one is more virtuous, you can't say he is virtuous and then he's committing a sin. If it is afdal, the two of them, they have one thing in common. What is that thing? Fadl. Let's give us one simple example to make it easily understood by all of us. If you say Zaydun afwalu min Amri or Muhammadun afwalu min Zaydun, Muhammad is taller than Zayd. What does it mean? It means both Zayd and Muhammad, they are what? They are God. They share the Sharaka too. They share a common virtue in terms of being God. And that's why it is wrong for you to say a man that has a height of 75, the other one has a height of 60. You won't say afterwards, you won't say taller than. What will you say? This man is Bawili, this one is Tafsir. You won't say Hada Atwal Millah, this one is taller than. No. If you say that, you have not spoken correctly, even in English language. So if it's Salatul Jama'ah, Salatul Jama'ah, afdalu, the Salah in Jama'ah is more virtuous. Salah alone is also virtuous. This is the basic proof of the Jumhur. Every activity is the same. They are just talking for us. They are emphasizing if I don't, it becomes you won't say position. Why is it like this? What is the other So when it says that, but it indicates that there is muqabala in public, there is if you say they share virtue, they'll say all that means is that you have salah. Not that praying alone is virtue. Because there are things in the Quran, there are statements in the Quran that indicate that to say that something is khair or afdal does not mean that they are both sharing in the virtue or in goodness. One verse they employed is the verse in Surah Al-Furqan, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Ashabul Jannati yawma idhin khayrun mustaqarran wa ahsanu مقيلة أصحاب الجنة يومئذ خير مستقرا وأحسن مقيلة. أصحاب الجنة, Allah says that أصحاب الجنة يومئذ خير مستقرا وأحسن مقيلة. The people of Al-Jannah on the day of judgment, he said subhanahu wa ta'ala, khayrun mustaqarra, they will find a better place of settling, a better abode. It says khayrun, better abode. Does this mean that the second abode is good? There are two abodes, Al-Jannah and Nar. It says Ashabul Jannati yawmaydin khayrun mustaqarra. The people of Al-Jannah will find a better place of dwelling, a better abode. Does it mean that the second abode is good, such that Al-Jannah is better? They don't share in any goodness. So they say it does not mean that in them, and then it says, وَأَحَسَنُ مَكِيلًا. You know what makil is? Allah place for Lila. And we are encouraged to make Qaylula too. Qaylula is the afternoon rest because of the heat of the sun. And they say that it does not have to be a sleep. That's why we refer to it as rest. If it is sleeping, better. If it is not sleep, just try to have a theater, I think they call it. Theater. Try to rest in that. So Makini is a place of relaxation due to heat. So he mentioned it regarding Al-Jannah and the day of Qiyamah. He says, وَأَحْسَنُ مَقِيلًا. They will have a better place of relaxation. Does it mean that there is a good place of relaxation so that Al-Jannah will be better? It doesn't mean so. So they say Salatul Jama'ah, Afdali does not necessarily mean that there is Musharaka in Fadl and that the individual can pray alone. It's also having fadl, no. You say it does not mean like that. So that is the reason why we do not stop there to say, okay, somebody can pray as is the position of the Jumhur. There are other ahadith and verses of the Quran that indicate that Salatul Jama'ah is a salah that when we don't go, we are committing a sin. The individual will be punished by Allah on the day of Qiyamah for not going for Salatul Jama'ah. The first hadith we like to read regarding that, even though there are verses of the Quran, ulama quote. But what we find is that there is Abdur-Raūf among ulama regarding those verses. whether those verses actually mean that or not. For example, أقيموا الصلاة وآتوا الزكاة واركعوا مع الراكعين. أقيموا الصلاة, observe your salah. وآتوا الزكاة, give out your zakah. واركعوا مع الراكعين. Make ruku, that is, make your salah with those who observe salah. Pray with those who pray. Bow with those who bow. واركعوا مع الراكعين. Observe your salah along with the rest of the people. Shaykh Muhammad Nāsir Al-Albani rahimahullah, he makes this verse evidence that when he says واركعوا مع الراكعين, that command. And the basic rule about commands is that it is obligatory. So it's obligatory that ma'iyya must be in your salah. That is jam'iyya. Perform your salah in jama'ah. This command from Allah. So everybody must perform salah in jama'ah. This is the view of Shaykh Al-Albani regarding this verse. And Al-Imām Al-Qurtubi in Al-Jami' Al-Ahkam Al-Quran, he said many of the scholars who say that salah in jama'ah, to come and observe salah in jama'ah is wajib or not, they use this verse as evidence. But Shaykh Muhammad ibn Salih al-Usaimi, he said no, we will use this verse. We can use other verses and other ahadith to prove that Salatul Jama'ah is wajiba, and that is my opinion. But this verse does not necessarily mean that Salatul Jama'ah is wajiba. He said, rahimahullah, that warka'u ma'ar raki'in means, yes, pray with those who pray. But warka'u ma'ar raki'in could also mean pray as people are praying. A king, that is saying wà lára àwọn ẹni tó ń kírun, kò túmọ̀ sí pé ẹ kírun papọ̀ lẹ́ẹ̀kan náà lásìkò kan náà láti kírun. This is what Shaykh Muhammad ibn Salih said. And the verse takes the two names. What he said is, warka'u ma'ar raki'in could mean pray together with those who pray, as we have initially explained. Warka'u ma'ar raki'in could also mean each of you should make salah as the rest of the Muslims are making salah. He said, for you to not get this verse better, Allah used the same expression regarding Maryam. What did he say to her? Ya Maryam, kunuti li rabbiki wasjudi warka'i ma'ar raki'in. Does this now mean that making ruku with raki'in is wajiba on a human too? He says to warka'u ma'ar raki'in does not necessarily mean that we must perform salah in jama'ah. So that's why I have left the verse. There are other verses in the Quran, but you see them making up the word. Another person who discussed this verse like that was also Al-Imām Al-Qurtubi, but not in this length like Shaykh Muhammad ibn Salih al-Usaimi, rahimahum Allah. To warka'u ma'ar raki'in, yes, some scholars say it means that, and this is what we have heard. So we go to ahadith. The reason I explain that verse is so that you don't say, why are you leaving the verses and going to ahadith? Because the verses have ihtimalat. And you know what that means in ihtijaj. They say, batal al-ihtijaj is ihtamal al-ihtimal. If a text can be interpreted in both ways, then you can't use it as a clear-cut evidence for each of the ways. So you leave it. You come to those ones that are, inshallah, clear-cut evidence. The first thing we'd like to mention is the hadith of Abu Hurairah radiyallahu anhu. And this hadith occurs in Sahih al-Bukhari and Muslim. We are trying to provide evidences that shows that it is a sin not to go for Salat al-Jama'ah. One will be committing a sin. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, this hadith has been variously reported. But it occurs in Sahih al-Bukhari and Muslim. And this love, I picked it from Sahih Muslim. It says, وَلَقَدْ أَحْمَمْتِ أَنْ آمُرَ بِالصَّلَاةِ. I have decided, have it in mind, that I will order that the salah, I will order for the salah, and then the salah will be established. ثُمَّ آمُرَ رَجُلًا. then I will command a man. I will tell one of you, فَيُصَلِّي بِالنَّاسِ. You lead the people in Salah. ثُمَّ أَنْطَلِقَ مَعِيَ بِرِجَالِ. Then I will proceed بِرِجَالِ. مَعِي بِرِجَالِ. I will proceed and with me, men. مَعَهُمْ حُرَمٌ مِنْ حَطَبٍ. They have bundles of wood with them. I would say somebody should lead Salah. ثُمَّ أَنْطَلِقَ. Then I will proceed. Ma'i the with me, I will have some men. And then these men, they have bundles of wood, dry wood that will burn very well. And these people, ma'ahum furamun min hatab, they are having bundles of wood. We will proceed ila qawmin, to a group of people, la yashhaduna as-salat. They will not come and witness the salah in the masjid. فَأُحَرِّقَ عَلَيْهِمْ بُيُوتَهُمْ بِالنَّارِ. And I will burn down their houses with the fire. This hadith is in Bukhari. The Prophet said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, وَلَقَدْ هَمَمْتُ أَنْ آمُرَ بِالصَّلَاةِ. I desire, I crave that I would order that the salah be established. فَتُقَى. And the iqamah for it is the sunnah. ثُمَّ آمُرَ رَجُلًا فَيُصَلِّي بِالنَّاسِ. And then I will command somebody to lead people. ثم أنطلق معي برجال. I will go with men, some men. معهم حرم من حطب. They have with them bundles of wood. إلى قوم. You will go to a city. لا يشهدون الصلاة. فأحرق عليهم بيوتهم بالنار. Those people don't come for Salat in Jama'ah. In some riwayat, in masajid, in the masjid. فَأُحَرِّقَ عَلَيْهِمْ. I will burn down over them their houses with the fire. Al-Imām Ibn Rajab al-Hanbali rahimahullah says, وَهَذَا الْحَدِيث ظَاهِرٌ فِي وُجُوبِ شُهُودِ الْجَمَاعَةِ. So this hadith, ظَاهِرٌ, it is very clear, فِي وُجُوبِ شُهُودِ الْجَمَاعَةِ, regarding the obligation of coming to witness Salat al-Jama'ah fil masajid, in the mosque. وَإِجَابَةِ الْمُنَادِي بِالصَّلَاةِ. It is also clear to indicate that when the muazzin makes the adhan, we should come and respond to that adhan. فَإِنَّ النَّبِيَّ صلى الله عليه وسلم, because the Prophet Muhammad صلى الله عليه وسلم هم بتحريك بيوت المختلفين عن الجماعة. He intended to burn down the homes of those who don't come to Salat al-Jama'ah. صلى الله عليه وسلم. ومثل هذه العقوبة الشديدة, and this kind of very strict and very severe punishment لا تكون إلا على ترك واجب. It will not be there except for the fact that you have left something that is obligation. This is a statement of Al-Imām Ibn Rajab Al-Hanbali. Long before, Ibn Rajab Al-Hanbali is a late 8th to early 9th century scholar of Islam. Long before him, Al-Imām Abu Bakr Ibn al-Munzir also gave the same deduction in his book Al-Awsat, that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is bil mu'minina ra'ufur rahim. It is very compassionate Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, very kind. How would he go and burn down the house of the people because they did not come for Salah? And it is not compulsory for them to come. If it is not compulsory for them to come, why will he say, okay, someone else, you need the Salah, let me go and burn down that house? He would have said, no, once we pray the Salah in Jama'ah, it suffices for them, so that even though they don't come. Once we, myself and some of you pray, then it's okay, let the rest. Some scholars say that. Like Ash-Shafi'iyya. Although Al-Imām Ibn al-Munzir cited a statement from Al-Imām Al-Shafi'i that indicates that he's also talking about wudu. But what is ascribed to Madhab Al-Imām Ash-Shawkāni is that they say that it is fardu kifaya. When some people have observed it, it suffices for the rest. Ulama say no, it is fardu al-ayn. It is fardu al-ayn. Everybody must come and observe it for himself. And the hadith they employ to say no, it is not fardu kifaya is this hadith. If it were fardu kifaya, the Prophet would have said sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, if some of us observe it, then it's okay. Let the rest don't come, no problem. We would observe it. Let them remain in their home. But he said no. Someone should leave the salah, let me go and burn down their houses for not coming for salah. So ulama say, this kind of iqab, this kind of uquba shadida, this kind of severe punishment will not be for something that is not obligatory. It means that it's actually obligatory. That every man comes to the masjid to observe what? Salatul Jama'ah. There is another thing. The ulama, they say, okay, did you then see the Prophet burning down somebody's house for not coming for Salatul Jama'ah? Al-Imām Ash-Shawkāni said that. Rahimahullah. The Imam whose text we are reading, he mentioned it in Nail al-Awtar. So did you now see a house the Prophet went and burnt down because some people did not come for Salatul Jama'ah? Ulama replied that. They said he had told us the reason why he did not go to burn down the house in some of the riwayat of this hadith. The Prophet said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, لَوْلَا النِّسَاءُ وَالذُّرِّيَّةُ, if not for the women and the children in the house. Which makes us understand that it is not compulsory for women and see back if you want to burn down their house. It's a very interesting discussion. The Prophet said, I would have gone to burn down the house, alayhi salatu. They say, okay, now did you see? Shawkāni said, rahimahullah. He said it was just an intention. It is not told that I have burnt down. Neither is it clear that he actually burnt down. He didn't order us, go and burn down. He didn't also burn down. He said, so it's only telling us that it is encouraged to go and perform salah in Jama'ah. Ulama say no. He told us the reason why he didn't burn down. What is that reason? Because of the women and كَانَ بِالْمُؤْمِنِينَ رَحِيمًا. Allah is merciful with the believer. He did not make his messenger burn down the house. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Because of what? Women and children. The Prophet said so himself. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So I think these are the major issues we have raised to say that this hadith does not prove that it is wajibah to observe Salatul Jama'ah in Jama'ah. But this hadith is a clear-cut evidence. You must observe Salatul Jama'ah in Jama'ah. Everybody must come to the mosque for Salatul Jama'ah. If you don't want your house to be like the house that the Prophet wished that he burnt down over you, come to the masjid for Salatul Jama'ah. May Allah take us all of us. The second hadith we like to read regarding this, and that is the hadith of Abu-Hurairah radiallahu anhu again. He said radiallahu anhu, أتى النبي صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم رجل أعمى. A blind man came to the Prophet Muhammad صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم. فقال يا رسول الله. The man said, oh Messenger of Allah, إنه ليس لي قائد يقودني إلى المسجد. I do not have a qa'id, a guy يقودني who will lead me to the masjid. Whether there is nothing as sweet as reading a hadith of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. I wish we are reading a book of hadith, we just be reading one hadith explained, next hadith explained. Because we must be having talk. And then you say sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And that's why Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal said, those who make salat and salam on the Prophet most are the hadithun. When some people are busy with Iraq, busy with Balagiyat, busy with all this, they are busy with Qala Rasulullah sallallahu. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. How many rewards for each of them? فقال يا رسول الله عليه الصلاة إنه ليس لي قائد يقودني إلى المسجد. The man said, I do not have a guide who will lead me or who will guide me to the masjid. فسأل رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم أن يرخص له. So the man asked the Prophet صلى الله عليه وآله أن يرخص له, to give him rukhsa, to give him ease in the masjid. Al-Imām Abu Bakr Ibn al-Munzir, he said, rahimahullah, these people that the Sharia has given rukhsa is ease. You know what rukhsa is? Something is having a ruling, for example, of an obligation. It's okay, for in your own case, it is not obligation. It's rukhsa, Sharia. And ease. They say, why was the man asking for rukhsa if it is not obligation? He would be asking for rukhsa. Al-Imām Abu Bakr Ibn al-Munzir rahimahullah says, this ibara, these expressions, tadullu ala fardil jama'ah. Because the man said, فَسَأَلَ رَسُولَ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمَ أَنْ يُرَخِّصَ لَهُ. The man asked the Prophet to give him rukhsa. So the A'immah said, this is evidence that Salatul Jama'ah is obligatory. Ala man la uzra lahu. Upon the one who does not have an excuse. Why? If law kana halul uzri wa ghayru halul uzri sawa'a. Because if the condition of the people who have excuse not to come for Salatul Jama'ah and those who don't have excuse, everybody, their condition is the same. لم يكن للترخيص في التخلص عنها في أبواب العذر معنى. Then asking for rukhsa does not have a meaning. Why would you be asking for meaning for a rukhsa if it is already mustahabba for them, Salatul Jama'ah? If it is mustahab to come to the masjid for Salatul Jama'ah, why are they asking for a meaning? You ask for rukhsa over something that is obligation. Please, give me an exemption, so to speak. Why are they asking for exemption? Why was the blind man, radiyallahu anhu, this blind man, his name was not known? And this hadith is different from the hadith of Ibn Maktoum. And Ibn Maktoum asked for the same excuse. What did he say, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam? La ajidu laka rukhsata. That was what he said, Ibn Maktoum. I can't find an excuse for you. As a blind man, he gave an excuse, "We're messenger of Allah. I can't come to the masjid and say, no excuse, come." Blind. That's why Imam Abu Bakr Ibn al-Munzir, he said, if a blind man cannot find excuse not to come for Salatul Jama'ah, how about those who are not in his own condition? Will they find excuse not to come for Salah? So, the man asked for the Prophet Muhammad. فَسَأَلَ رَسُولَ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمَ أَنْ يُرَخِّصَ لَهُ. The man asked the Prophet to give him an exemption فَيُصَلِّي فِي بَيْتِهِ, so that he can be observing the Salah in his house. فَرَخَّصَ لَهُ. So the Prophet gave him a seat. You are exempted. No problem. Observe the Salah in your house. فَلَمَّا وَلَّى. When the man turned back to go, they asked, say, come. فَقَالَ أَيْتَسْمَعُ النِّدَاءَ بِالصَّلَاةِ. The man asked, the Prophet asked the man, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, do you hear النِّدَاءُ بِالصَّلَاةِ? Do you hear the call for Salah? Do you hear the adhan for Salah? فَقَالَ نَعَمْ. The man said, yes, I hear the call for Salah. فَأَجِبْ. Come and answer that. Don't stay back at home. Answer the call. Come to the man. So you are giving him an exemption. Do you hear adhan? Some of the ulama draw from this that it means if we don't hear the adhan, you live in an area so far away from the masjid that you don't hear the adhan, then you have the rukhsah. Because you gave a condition that you hear the adhan. If you hear the adhan, you must stop. We will read that again in the next hadith that we read. Every person who hears the adhan must come. It was not exempted for a blind man. The blind man was not given an exemption. So you that you are not blind, don't think that you have an exemption. Even though people give themselves excuses. You know their excuse? They want to watch football. They will miss Salatul Jama'ah because of football. I wish that the Prophet burned down their own house. Ulama said, why was the Prophet talking about burning down the house? He said because it is that house that they were saying that prevented them from coming to the masjid. Take that house from them. So if they stay without a house, they will come to the masjid. They will come to the masjid. So maybe we will say that those people watching football are not coming for Salatul Jama'ah. We should blow up their television set. That set that is preventing them from coming to Salah. Some people now watch all those on their phone. Shameless. Not coming for Salatul Jama'ah. What are you doing? Is watching football. And some of these people you are watching the DJ. You are watching them leaving Salatul Jama'ah. Their houses really deserve to be burnt down by the Prophet. But in this case, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he did not see the blind man. But the Jumhur have an answer for this. Those who say it is not compulsory. They said that there was also a blind man. We read this hadith when we were talking about Salatul Duha. Ibrāhīm ibn Malik. He came to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He asked for the same permission, but the conditions are different. In the hadith, three cases now. So how many blind men have asked for permission now? 3. We know the names of 2. We don't know the name of 1. Let's start from the one we don't know, and this is the one we have read. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam asked him, "Atasma'u nida'a bis-salah?" You hear the adhan for Salah? Qala na'am. The Prophet, the man said yes. So come and answer the call. So that one goes. The hadith also occurs in the Bukhari and Muslim. The second man was Ibn Maktoum. Some people call him Abdullah. So he's actually Amr ibn Maktoum. People say Abdullah ibn Maktoum. The correct thing is Amr ibn Maktoum. If you go to book of Rijal, you see him as Amr ibn Maktoum. He was a muazzin of the Prophet Muhammad. One of the muazzins. Don't forget, he used to call the prayer as Fajr. We read his hadith too when we were discussing Al-Adhan and what? Al-Iqam. Himself and Bilal, you remember. He is the one who will be told that the Fajr is out. So he stand up and he tell you, let me check whether Fajr is out. When Fajr is out, he stand up and make the adhan for Salat al-Fajr. Ibn Maktoum, he also asked for permission. The Prophet said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, La ajidu laka rukhsata. I can't find an excuse. So it means blindness is not an excuse not to come to Salat. Ulama said because most times blind people find somebody to guide them to the masjid. Or that they would have known the road to the masjid before they became blind. Or that when blind people go to a place, even though they were blind at those times that they were going there, after a while, they can know that road by themselves. Do you know that? So that is the reason why they don't have an excuse. Blind people must come for the masjid. May Allah shower His blessings on these companions. Their eyes were not seen, but their hearts were seen. They are not blind in their hearts. Like some people who have their eyes seen, their eyes on their head see, but they are blind in their mind. Those are the actually blind ones. May Allah protect us. The third one, which is the second one that we know, is Ibrāhīm ibn Malik. he also went to ask for permission from the Prophet Muhammad, alayhi salatu wasalam, not to be exempted. That is, he asked for permission to be granted exemption from Salatul Jama'ah. But his own case is different. He mentioned two things apart from his blindness. He said, I am blind. He said there is Abdullah, is darkness in the night, and then there is suyud. Heavy what? Heavy erosion. He will fail. What does fail mean? Ad-Durar. Now, flood. He said this flood crossed between me and the road to the masjid. So you have three excuses. Darkness and what? He is being blind. And then what? Heavy flooding. Like 2-3 days ago. The entirety of Saudi Arabia was flooded. I'm sure you know that. Heavy flood. In some cities they are still going on till now. There are heavy floods in Saudi Arabia. If you watch some of these floods being shown, you will know that if a man enters it, he will die. In one of these, he took a car, just between yesterday and today. He carried the car like a paper. He hit the car on a place and he carried it again. He moved it like a tsunami flood. So in the Arab world, they fear these things a lot. So if a man has that between him and the road to masjid, and then he's blind, and then there is darkness, will the Prophet not give him an excuse? Sallallahu alayhi. The Prophet gave him an excuse, and then asked him. The man said, okay, so come to my house, to pray in my house. That place where you pray, At-Tibyān masjida, I will take that place as a masjid inside my house. So when I can't come, I pray there. So the Prophet went at the time of Salatul Duha. So that was the companion who said that Salat took place at what time? Time of Duha. He mentioned that in the riwayah of Al-Imām Ibn Abi Shaybah in his Musannaf. And Al-Imām Al-Bukhari pointed to it mu'allaqan in Sahih Al-Bukhari. On the Salatul Tasawwuf. So this Salat, it is Salatul Duha. This man was exempted from coming. The Jumhur said the Prophet exempted one blind man. The rest of the ulama say that blind man cannot really come because he was exempted not because of just his blindness. There is also darkness and then there is flood. Will he jump into the flood as a blind man? That even when a man that sees with 4 eyes cannot survive in the flood, how do you say that the man should still come? So it's not an excuse. So this hadith is evident that even if a man is blind, he must come to Salatul Jama'ah. How much more do you want this? How much more do you want this? May Allah protect all of us. The third hadith we like to read about the obligation of coming to Salatul Jama'ah. Hadith of Abdullah ibn Abbas. Before I proceed, my brother, are these narrations clear for us? Do they prove that Salatul Jama'ah is obligatory? The third hadith we like to read to us is the hadith of Abdullah ibn Abbas. It says, radiyallahu anhuma, that the Prophet Muhammad said, sallallahu alayhi, that man sami'a al-nida, whoever hears the azan, falam ya'tihi, and then he will not come to answer it, fala salata lahu. He does not have salah, illa min uzrin, except he has an uzr. One of the azan, uzrun min azar al-shaykh. That if he has one excuse among the excuses that the Sharia has allowed. There are excuses. Man sami'a al-nida includes men and women. So one excuse is a woman. So, in mind, we do not men and women. So, the second is like Ibrāhīm, as we mentioned in the example. The other one is the person who has his 2 stars, my brother. It is la salata fi hadarat al-star. When the food on the table like this, you are exempted from Salatul Jama'ah. What else? Al-Marid. illness, the one he's so ill he can't come to the masjid. Even though we now, with simple habits, we can't go for Salat al-Jama'ah. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud said, radiyallahu anhu, one of us will be sick. He will be carried on both hands like this until we place him on the spot. He will still come to Salat. They will carry him. One somebody is holding one hand, the other one is holding another hand. They are carrying him to the masjid. We will still go for Salat. In our own case, we are very lazy now. When we have ready to give ourselves a gift, because perhaps we have not known the value of the Salah, we are going to observe. May Allah protect us. So these are valued excuses. Likewise, the one who eats onion. The Prophet said you should not go to the masjid, as long as that onion is smelling. The onion that is uncooked, as long as it is smelling, don't come for Salah. That's an excuse. Brother, why are you not coming for Salah? I just ate onion now. So you can ask me, is it possible somebody just cut onion and begins to eat it? Yes, it's possible. There are some people who like to eat what a little people call barbecue meat. You know the meat they are calling barbecue? We therefore said it, I laugh. Suya, is also barbecue. Yeah. So don't ask me also, can you make that? Yes, ulama says one of the best ways to handle meat. And that was the meat that Nabi Ibrāhīm did to the Malaika who visited him. He barbecued their meat. Alayhi salatu. Barbecue. Suya meat. So you dry the meat, you pepper it, you salt it, you maggi it. You can mix up the pepper, salt, and maggi. And then you do, some of these things are nice when you do it yourself. So women, every day you are boiling the meat for your husband. You can do another thing another day. Yes. When you fight life, you enjoy life. So your husband will not go and say, I will barbecue meat for you. You can tell Abu, have you eaten barbecue meat before? Sheikh Muhammad ibn Salih al-Uthaymeen, he said that is the best way to prepare meat. Because when Ibrāhīm did it, the Ibn al-Hamid, Allah mentioned it in Surah Al-Hud. In Surah Al-Hud, Allah mentioned it. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said that it is from among those who first made diyafa, socially, was Nabi Ibrāhīm. What did he use to make that alleged? Barbecue meat. So when you barbecue the meat, you can cut onions, can slice onions and tomato and what? Cucumber. You add it to it. These ones will aid the digestion. It will not allow the cholesterol to gather in the body of your husband. You understand? So you cut onions, you cut cucumber, you cut tomatoes, you put it, you slice it aside, you keep it. Abu went to Salat in Maghrib. Because the best time to eat your dinner is after Maghrib. If you find me eating it after Isha, don't blame me. So the best time to eat your dinner is after Maghrib. So you can find the man eating after Maghrib. So you eat these onions and you begin to have the smell of onions in his mouth. فَلَا تَقْرَبَنَّ مَسَاجِدَنَا. Don't come to our masjid. فَإِنَّ الْمَلَائِكَةَ تَتَأَذَّى مِمَّا يَتَأَذَّى بِهِ بَنُو آدَمَ. This smell is causing harm to people. The angels will cause them harm. Don't come to me. These are the excuses that we have. The excuses that we have. How many did we mention now? A number of them. So don't come to the masjid if there's no excuse. He said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Man sami'a al-nida'a falam ya'tihi fala salat. The one who hears the adhan and does not come to answer for that adhan, fala salat lahu. Ulama say he has no salah. But they say it is not that he has no salah at all. They go back to our first hadith. That what it means is that his salah has very small reward and he's committing a sin. committing is sinning for not going to Salah, even though he will not have to repeat the Salah. But he's committing it for not going to Salah. I hope that this point is clear. This hadith occurs in Sunan Ibn Majah. And Shaykh Al-Albani rahimahullah mentioned the hadith to be authentic in Al-Irwa' al-Bahiyyah. Before him, Shaykh Ahmad Muhammad Shakir, in his tahqiq of Al-Muhalla, the first volume, page 168. Why am I saying this? The first is that some scholars say that this hadith of Ibn Abbas is da'if, but the correction is that that hadith is da'if. The other say no, it is mawqufun an Ibn Abbas. Ulama say laysa mimma yuqalu bil-ra'is. It is not from the things that Ibn Abbas will say in his own opinion, that somebody does not have salah. He can't say that from his own opinion. You would have heard it from the Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wa salam. And then this kind of hadith, that whosoever man sami al-nida, whoever hears the call to salah, and then he does not come to salah, he does not have salah, has been mentioned by Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiyallahu anhu. It has also been mentioned by Aisha radiyallahu anha. It has also been reported by Abu Sa'id al-Khudri radiyallahu anhu, Abu Musa al-Ash'ari, Ali ibn Abi Talib, Abu Hurairah radiyallahu anhu, others among the companions. They have statements like this, that man sami al-nida, whoever hears the call to prayer should come to salah, otherwise salah. There are asar, like you said, from these companions, from Ibn Mas'ud, from Abu Sa'id, from Abu Musa al-Ash'ari, from Ali ibn Abi Talib, from Aisha, from Abu Hurairah, with this same meaning of the asar of Abdullah ibn Abbas. All of these go to prove that every person, male, who does not have any of the excuses mentioned, must do what? Must come for Salatul Jama'ah. So it means that what we read in our book, here means our hadith students, we say for each opinion that the correct thing is that Salatul Jama'ah is what? Wajibatun min al-wajibat. It's something that is from amongst the things that are obligatory. The next point that before we leave there, we talked about women. Salatul Jama'ah is not also obligatory on women. We read the hadith of Abdullah ibn Abbas, wherein the Prophet said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, to the women, that وَبُيُوتُهُنَّ خَيْرٌ لَهُنَّ وَبُيُوتُهُنَّ خَيْرٌ لَهُنَّ, and their homes are better places for them for salah. A woman deliberately came to the Prophet Muhammad, asking to be observing salah behind him. What did he say? To say, go back. To pray in the innermost part of your room is better than in the outer part. And then. He actually directed, go and be praying in your home. Ulama draw from this that it is very important that women stay in their home. If salah, أول ما يحاسب به العبد يوم القيامة. Yes, the women are encouraged. They have a preference for them in the Sharia that they should observe salah at home. What then do you think should take a woman out of her home? Salah is allowed. It's better for her to pray at home. Right? Perhaps the mas'ala around this is, in Masjid al-Haram, is it still better for them to pray in their hotel rooms or not? It's better for them to pray in their hotel rooms. When the Prophet was making this statement, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, where was he? He was either in Makkah, in Masjid al-Haram, saying that to them, or in Medina, where there is his masjid, and still he's telling them that buyutuhunna khayrun lahunna. Even praying behind him is another virtue. He keeps telling them that your home is Shaykh Abdur-Rahman today. Is he like the Prophet Muhammad? Alayhi salam. It's like somebody comes and says, this Shaykh, Imam Masjid al-Haram, I want to be praying behind you. Say, no, go and be praying in your hotel. And the Prophet will say you the one like the other. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Yes, he said that he prayed outside. There are those among the ulama who have that opinion, and that is the correct view. That for a woman to pray in her room when she's in Makkah or Medina in Masjid al-Haram, she will still have more reward. If your own is 100,000, she will have more than you. The same. And that is the correct view, inshallah. Al-Imām Ash-Shawkāni says, rahimahullah, وَكَنْ أَشْهُدُ بِاسْمَيْهِ, and the Jama'ah will be established with two persons. How do we know? Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu told us in Hadith in Bukhari and Muslim that he slept in the house of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You remember this hadith? We mentioned it when we were discussing Qiyamul Layl, Salatul Layl, that he slept in the house of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When the night became calm, Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Prophet stood up and started observing his salah. He said, I stood up and went to join him in salah. That salah is Salatul Jama'ah. How many of them started that? How many of them started that Jama'ah? Two. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and who? Abdullah ibn Abbas. So Jama'ah can start from two. The same thing happens to Abdullah ibn Mas'ud. The same thing happens to Hudayf ibn Yaman. They were two and they observed salah in Jama'ah. So that means the least number of persons, of course, that can observe salah in Jama'ah is how many? Two. Once you are two, you can observe salah in Jama'ah. And because Ibn Abbas was a little young boy, radiyallahu anhuma, at the time, he was a little young boy. He slept in the same room with the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and Maymuna, his own aunt, the sister of his own mother Lubaba, the mother of Abdullah ibn Abbas, radiyallahu anhu. What's her name? Lubaba, the sister of Maymuna radiyallahu anhu. So he slept in Maymuna's room radiyallahu anhu, and he stood up in the night to observe salah with the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. That salah was in Jama'ah. So he was a young boy at the time. So ulama say that means if you stand up to observe salah in Jama'ah with a young boy, even though he had not reached maturity, that salah is what? Salah in Jama'ah. That's why Imam Shawkāni told us that what? وَتَنْعَشِدُ بِاسْمَيْهِ. Salah in Jama'ah will be established by two persons. The same thing will apply if a man was praying with his wife. You are alone. You make Qiyamul Layl with your wife. It is also Salatul Jama'ah. Or the man ate onions after Maghrib. He could not go for Salatul Isha. So they make the Isha in the masjid. He has an excuse not to go. He wants to pray inside his house. He will pray himself and who? And his wife. So all these are aspects of Salatul Jama'ah that are accepted. The Imam Shawkāni said, وَتَنْعَتِدُ بِاسْمَيْهِ. And then he says, rahimahullah, that وَإِذَا كَثُرَ الْجَمْعُ كَانَ الثَّوَابُ أَكْثَرُ. When the congregation is large, كَانَ الثَّوَابُ أَكْثَرُ. Then the reward is much more. When the congregation is large, then the reward is much more. This is contained in hadith collected by Imam Ibn Majah. He said, the Prophet said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, that salatu rajuli ma'a rajuli azka min salatihi wahdahu. Salatu rajuli ma'a rajuli. The salah of a man with another man, azka, is more purified because it has reward. Don't forget how we explained the first hadith. It does not mean that it is allowed for the individual to be praying alone, not going to Salatul Jama'ah in the masjid. So it says, Salatul Rajuli ma'a rajul azka min salatihi wahdahu. The salah of a man with another man, azka, is more purified from the aspect of it being better, more rewarding, min salatihi wahdahu, than the individual salah that he observes alone. وَصَلَاتُهِ مَعَ الرَّجُلَيْنِ. And a person's salah with two others, أَزْكَى مِنْ صَلَاتِهِ مَعَ الرَّجُلِ, is more purifying than the individual salah with one person. One person's salah is lesser in reward than the salah of that one person with another person. The salah of two persons with one person is more purifying than the salah of one person with one person. That is, the salah of three, أَزْكَى مِنْ صَلَاتِ اثْنَيْنِ, is more rewarding, more purifying than the salah of two persons. And the salah of two persons, أَزْكَى مِنْ صَلَاتِ رَجُلٍ وَحْدَهُ, is more rewarding than the salah of an individual that he makes alone. He said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, وَمَا كَانَ أَكْثَرُ فَهُوَ أَحَبُّ إِلَى اللَّهِ. And those salawat, or مَا كَانَ أَكْثَرُ, and the more than the larger the number, that is the more beloved that it becomes before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This hadith occurs in Sunan Abu Dawud. It also occurs in Sunan al-Nasa'i, that the Prophet said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, that salatu rajuli ma'a rajuli azka min salatihi wahdahu wa salatuhu ma'a rajulayn azka min salatihi ma'a rajul wa ma kana akthar fahuwa ahabba ila Allah. The more the number of people, that is the more that it becomes beloved in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So these are the three things we chose to discuss today. That here in our Hadith Sunan, we know now that it is not from Sunan, it is from the Wajibat. What an attribute is named. Salatul Jama'ah becomes established with at least two persons. وَإِذَا كَثُرَ الْجَمْعُ, when the congregation is large, كَانَ الثَّوَابُ أَكْثَرَ, then the reward is larger. So this is what we have read today. Inshallah, in our next class, we'll be mentioning Ahkamul Imama, the rulings regarding leadership in Salah. Inshallah. Who should lead? Who has the better position to lead us? An older person, a taller person, who has the greater right to lead us in Salah? The one who best can recite the Quran, or the one who best understands the Quran? Is it the one who best understands or the one who best recites? Who best recites? Inshallah, we'll discuss it in the next. If they are equal in recitation, which one are we going to teach? What about a young boy, if he's the best reciter amongst us? Maybe some of our children now read Quran better than we do. Alhamdulillah. But that is not to say we must rest on our own. Many of the young boys now recite better than many of the elders. Their makharij is usually sounder, so to speak, than those of many of the elders. Sometimes than the teachers who taught them. Because from childhood they began to nurture the tongue upon the perfection of these hope. So by the time they grew older, it was as if their tongues were split, and then those harakat were placed on it. So if we have a young boy, small boy, who reads the Quran better than all of us, should he be the one who will lead the Salah or not? Does that hadith of picking the one who best recites involve and include children, even though they are children? But our own Baba, we send the 10 children away from us. But let's not do that. If they don't come to masjid, where should they go? They should go and play football. So we should not be doing all this. So we will mention, inshallah, issues regarding Al-Imām in our next class. From the statements of Al-Imām Ash-Shawkāni, who will read it and explain, and other issues that are connected to it and very important that happen to us day to day that he did not mention, we try to mention them inshallah. so that it will be of benefit to us, inshallah. May Allah make it beneficial to those who pay and those who listen to it. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. If we have 1, 2, 3 questions, we can just quickly answer. Alaykum salam. Yes, one of the exemptions is raised. In fact, one of the students of Azan during is that the Muazzin should say, Sallu fi rihali. All of you, observe your salah in your home. Don't come to the masjid. That occurs in the hadith of Abdullah ibn Umar and Abdullah ibn Abbas in Sahih Muslim. They should say to us, observe the salah in your home. Sallu fi rihalikum. And that one can be said after the Adhan. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah. Sallu fi rihalikum. Or instead of saying Hayya al-Salah, Hayya al-Salah, we say Sallu fi rihalikum. They are correct in any of those places that I took them. I think we discussed these issues when we are discussing Al-Adhan and Al-Iqamah. So like she said, one of the things that may not make us go out into the masjid, that is close to the excuse of the blind man who was prevented by gully or erosion or something from coming to the masjid. The issue of the rain is closed by Alexandra, you came late today. That's why you are sitting there. Now, this question had been asked twice here. The man who decides not to make a farm, if he does it once, no problem. But if it's something that he's doing repeatedly, he's leaving an important sunnah in a farmer. But don't forget, we mentioned that the hukum of a farmer in Salah is what? Sunnah. You understand? Make a farmer. Make a farmer. Don't deliberately leave a farmer. Even though if he does not make the Iqamah, he still has the Salah. The Salah is Jaiza, because the Salah only starts with Takbirat al-Ihram. Alaykum salam. What is the proof that Salah starts with Takbirat al-Ihram? The hadith of Aliyy ibn Abi Talib. So, you know that hadith? Alhamdulillah. Naam, alaykum salam. Assalamu alaikum, sir. Please, my husband will insult me and disgrace me publicly unnecessarily. He doesn't normally take advice until when an outsider tells him the same thing. Please, sir, what can I do in such a situation? In many cases, if we say, oh, your husband is bad, if don't ever hear one thing a man says about his wife, that by way of complaint, or what a woman says about her husband by way of complaint, until you have heard from both sides. If you hear from one, you did not hear from the other, give a general advice. Yesterday, not dinner. Yesterday, a sister called and said her husband wrote a letter of divorce, placed it under the pillow, and traveled from all the way in the north. I won't mention the state where they are traveling. But it's not Abuna. Don't say that it's Abuna. Because Abuna is always going. So he traveled all the way from the north to Lagos. He did not tell her. When he got to Lagos, he called her and said, check under the pillow, you have one letter here. And the letter is a letter of divorce. She said she does not want to be separated from her husband. So I asked her. I said, is this the first one? She said, no, this is the second one. Things like trouble. He had divorced you before. She said, yes. I said, what did you do? She said, I did one of those things that a woman does to her husband. That was how she said it. One of those things that women, what are those things that women do to their husband? But get a wisdom from this, that she herself to say she has been divorced the first time. This is the second one. It means that thing has been there. Except if you want to ascribe insanity to the man or injustice to the man. There is something. But send me your husband's number. We'll call it. Unfortunately, I have not called the brother. May Allah settle the case between them. And do that which is best for them both. Those two supplications are not opposites. The issue is many times, men provoke their wives. And many times, women provoke their husbands. But this woman is saying that the husband abuses her unnecessarily. It means that she's thinking that sometimes it may be necessary to abuse her. We are just thinking about what she said. She said publicly. Now let us talk about case A and case B. Case A is that the man is safe and is a person of reason, mature in his approaches. But he commands his wife to do particular things. Imagine a man who has a wife for 10 years. He's always complaining that the house is dirty. And food comes to the table late. For 10 years, this woman has been like this. There are cases like that I know. Two things. Dirtiness makes food. And the third one, she abuses her husband. The slightest excuse she will abuse. So, sometimes people lose patience. This case is, I'm not finding justification for the man, but this is something that happens among men and women. The advice in this case is that women should stop this. They should adjust. Don't say your husband is abusing you when you have not adjusted. You know the reason why he's abusing you. There is one law of thermodynamics. It's also a law of equation. It's also a law of force and momentum. To every action, there is equal and opposite reaction. So if you don't want an action, if you don't want a reaction, don't bring an action. So the first way to stop that abuse is that those women should change those things. Change those things. Don't say, talk to my husband, we will not leave you too. If you know that there is something you do your husband detest, dislike, stop that thing. The Prophet Muhammad, the Prophet Muhammad, a man came to say to him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that my wife abuses me. The Prophet said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, talliqha. Divorce her. This hadith is in Musnad Ahmad. A man came to say to the Prophet Muhammad, my wife abuses me, divorce her. No love. Take her. Go her. What will I say? Take her. Divorce her. Abusing your husband. So women can come and say, I didn't do anything to him, just divorce me. So when you ask her, what did you say? One of those things that women do to their husband, one of those things women do to their husband is abuse. Stop abusing your husband. The second thing is cleanliness. Many women are dirty. Many. does a woman stay in a house? She has water, she has everything to herself. She will not have a bath in 5 years. Or be concerned about. So we say, I don't want to have my bath and then cook. Have your bath, cook. Have your bath again, cook. Have your bath again, cook. Have your that is your work. In the other room. You are not going anywhere. You are there to take care of it. So you can change your clothes 10 times. Change what? Clean them, iron. So don't be a woman that is dirty. One of the things that irritates men most is dirtiness of a woman. I know a brother who divorced a wife. He asked him why. She's a dirty person. It was a clear-cut statement. We asked him, why did you divorce? He said, oh boy. Many women are like that. A man comes into the house. Perhaps a lecturer. 7 o'clock he left the house. He returns at 6 p.m. There is shoe here, there is plate here, there is a bucket here, there is a spoon here, there is a shoe here, there is a broom here, there is when he comes into the kitchen room, he is looking for where to sit down. Anna, he is laughing. He will be looking for where to sit down. Where about to say, they are sitting on the place to put your legs. You start looking, where do I sit down here? And you think that when he sees you, he will say, oh, mashallah. It won't work like that. To change those things. Those things make women need respect before men. You say it's abusing you publicly. It means he does not respect you. Go and look where you are doing something that he hates. This brother is very badly. This case I want to mention now. The brother was badly. But it only goes to show how some men, to the extent they can go when you are disobeying them. A sister called me, this one almost 4 years ago. She was crying. Just call and cook up like that. Somebody comes and begins to cry. You know there's trouble. You will be saying, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Salaz wa bi-Falak, Bishari ma Falak, Bishari. So what happened? It's my husband. Say, okay. What happened? She said she was pregnant. So he won't beat her. He won't flog her. He will just hold her and be hitting her head. Boom, 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 boom. It is wickedness. May Allah protect us. No reasonable man should do that with his wife. A pregnant woman, you hold her down, you begin to knock her head home. It can lead her to madness. May Allah protect us. I said, what did you do? He said, I don't know what, it's just like all the time. You will hold me, give him the number. I said, send me the number. I have not abused him, I have not said anything. Send me the number. So I called the husband. Fortunately, it's a brother that I know. He said it to that you will know him. I said, brother, what happened? He said, Mala, I said, now. He said, I really used to do that to her. Well, the first thing he said was to confirm that, yes, what he had said is correct. I became afraid of him. So I said, what did she do to justify that? He said, if I tell my wife, sit down, she will stand up. If I tell my wife, stand up, she will sit down. I said, what do you mean by that? That was how he said it. Maybe he will hear this class on Wednesday, he will call me that you are using me to be a example, say yes, so that people will learn from you. And you too will stop doing it. He said, if he says, bring me plate, she can bring a cup. If I say, bring me cup, she can bring a plate. That he cannot remember something he said to her, do this, and she does it. Always disobeying the husband. I said, but that thing you are doing is bad. He said, yes, he knows that it is bad, and he's going to stop it. But to warn her too, she should stop disobeying him. What I'm just saying is that sometimes those actions, those reactions, some actions stop it. A good way to stop that reaction is to stop the action that brought about it. It's a sincere advice for women. Don't say your husband is just oppressing you. What you are doing that leads to his oppressing you, stop it. Then we'll see whether he will change or not. Let me conclude that story. That brother, he wanted to marry a second sister. That marriage ended in a divorce. May Allah protect us. They separated. And the sister is very young. Very young. She has one child with her now. He wanted to marry another sister. One time, the sister just told me, Salaam alaikum. I want to marry brother so. I said, he's tough, he's hard, he will be beating you. You know what the sister told me? She said, he will not beat me. Because I know why he was beating that one. I will not do this. That sister is in the brother's house now. They got married. She said, I will not do those things. Recently I asked her, did you say he never touched me? If you know the reason your husband is being violent, stop it. So we'll be stopping two things. Unsur akhaka zaliman aw mazluma. We'll stop two things. We'll be telling the husband, don't beat your wife. No reasonable man does that. You too, you'll be stopping the reason for the aggression. But just for us, I said, violence against women. Violence against women. Oh, yesterday it was in the paper. Or this morning, a woman in somewhere middle bed. Let me stop there. But women also direct violence to their husband. So you will need a men's group too to start shouting violence against men? No. You advise both sides. Something brings about that violence. Stop it, women. Men, even though a woman does something like this is not the correct way to respond. This is how to stop it. But when you say, my husband has abused me, it means he has lost respect for you. There is a reason why he has lost that respect. Correct that, and we beg husbands not to be aggressive and abusive with them. No reasonable man. Yeah, let me give you one after from Abdullah ibn Umar. Radiyallahu anhuma. He divorced wife up to 3 or 4 times, Ibn Umar. And they are all in authentic reports from the Prophet Muhammad. In his time, he gave a letter that one of his wives should be divorced. When the woman read the letter, she said, tell him, if a woman that is nice to her husband, loving of her husband, and obedient to her husband, should she be divorced? The woman replied, help me ask him. A woman is nice, obedient to her husband. She loves her husband. And she obeys her husband. Should that kind of a woman be divorced? If no man said, take her back. I'm not divorcing her again. How can you divorce? So what we say to women is, an obedient woman, who does her job at home, they don't get violent aggression from a reasonable man. If there's no aggression, then we direct the advice and Preach to who? To the man. But if there is some action triggering those things, it will give us a problem. We will not be able to solve it. Wallahi, sometimes women can tire a man. They tired the Messenger Muhammad. He had to leave them for 1 month. Alayhi salatu. He left, he went up his house. He wasn't entering the house. He did that for 29 days. When he was coming into the house, they said, has the month completed 30? It remains 24 hours. Radiallahu anhu. It says, مَا تَرَكْتُ هَذِهِ فِتْنَةً أَضَرَّ عَلَى الرِّجَالِ مِنَ النِّسَاءِ. No fitna is hard for men to bear like the fitna of women. The wives who are from those men, they are fitna for men. So we want to continue to be patient, continue. As we say that, we'll be encouraging the women to don't do things that will blow up this patience. May Allah make this easy for all of us. We spent time there because these things happen. Between last week and now, we have many instances we can cite. May Allah forgive all our brothers and all our sisters. May He make cordial living together easy for them, for both the men and the women. What the women do, for which the men become enraged, becoming violent against them. May Allah make them to change it. Men who are violent and aggressive against their wives, may Allah make them to solve that problem of themselves. ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك